Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about one of the things we've been traveling around, speaking in different churches and meeting so many different people. Just after I've shared my story, there's always one or two people that come up to me and they just thank me for sharing my story, and then they want to tell me their story and kind of just how they had brokenness and they've managed to come out of it, and they just feel this need to tell me their stories, and I just realized that there's so many people that have brokenness that you wouldn't normally think would have brokenness in their lives, and how we all have a story to tell, and we all have brokenness within us, and we live in a broken world, and how all these people just that come up and feel the need to tell me a bit about their lives, they're just looking for someone to listen to them, and it's just something I think I realize that we need more of that in our communities and in our churches. Just people just sharing, the difficult things, but also sharing what happened after, after you've given your life to God, how God has pulled you out of certain situations, and I know for me God came down and touched my life, and he pulled me out of a dark place, and healing began to happen, but it was a slow process. Healing, it isn't just a quick one-time thing, it's an ongoing process, and I think part of that healing journey is just sharing my story with people, and realizing that I'm not the only one that struggles with certain things, and I'm not the only one who had a messed up childhood maybe, and had difficulties, and then as we've been sharing in different churches, there's always one person that comes up to me and says, "Thank you for sharing my story." And and I ask, "What do you mean?" And they usually tell me that it's my story you shared. Everything you said about your life happened to me, and I could just see the healing, in their eyes and in their face, and there's also people that come up to me, and there's one specific time this church fella came up to me, and he was genuine and honest, and he looked at me and he said, "I don't understand your life. I can't relate to any of the words that you're saying. Your story, it's impactful, but I grew up in a Christian home. I had a Christian mom and dad. I had a good life. I had a good childhood, and everything was great and wonderful, and there was not really much hurt in my family." And I could see this guy was genuine when he was saying this, and I just looked at him and I said to him, "One day I want my kids to be able to say I had a good life, I had a good childhood, my mom and dad were both Christians, and so many people tell me, oh, your story's so awesome and great and it's impactful, and and that's all good, but it's also something I wouldn't wish on anybody. And after I said that to that guy, that that I hope my kids would say that one day, I said to him, your life matters, your life matters. It was good Christian people that helped me and showed me the light and the way I should live, and yeah, I just wanted to encourage people today that maybe you have a story and how God has just delivered you from stuff, and just to share that, and just to see what God does with it, and maybe you're that Christian person that's never really had too much difficulties in your life, and you also have to share that hope that's inside you that God's freely given to you, so you have to freely give it to others, and somehow, together we just make a broken world just a little bit less broken, and yeah. So with that, I'll talk to you later. Good job, Andrew. Good job.